Hello and welcome to the Afridominium show. My name is Freeman Singirankabo and thank you so very much for tuning into our program today. Those of you joining us live, especially if you're joining us live from the social media, be it private social medias or public social media. We're talking about social media like Facebook, YouTube, and the likes. Welcome, guys. Welcome. We are so thrilled that you can find some time out of your busy schedule and tuning into our program today. A huge welcome to those of you also viewing our television or viewing this program via television or listening to the radio station. We are super excited and very happy that you can also find some time out of your busy schedule to join our program today. We are really excited, guys, and this is one of those opportunities, I should say, a lifetime opportunities that we have been given to voice our opinion, to voice the most important things that we have within ourselves. And for those reasons, every single one of the conversations that we have here at Afridominium, we get to have it being truthful to you guys boldly and with no apologies. Meaning every time we speak to you guys, we literally speak truthfully, boldly, and with no apologies. Why? Because everything that we get to discuss, we have had so much to say to you all for so long, but we just have never had any platforms, platforms to help us out, to actually push our voices out. And finally we got it. And since we got it, we want to make sure that we maximize the opportunity that we have to come before you guys, to your living room, to your taxi cab, wherever it is that you find this signal from. We are super glad and super thrilled for the opportunity to come in front of you. A huge thanks to HMG Network and the affiliates who are pushing this signal all over the world. We are really grateful for this opportunity to really help our brothers and sisters all over, to really voice our opinion, to voice the voice of the voiceless and so on. And it is for this reason also that during this conversation, all the programmings that we do here at Afridominium, these are the programs we get to have in the spirit of truth, love, and trust. And these are the benchmarks that we would love each and every one of you to literally use as you measure both the validity and the integrity of the content that we share with you guys. We're hoping that anytime you find something that is out of hand, something that is inaccurate, that you can take some time and actually correct us. We are literally live when we're having this conversation. So feel free to join us live as it happens and let us know that, one or two things or anything that you may see out of order. Call it out so that we can be able to rectify it in real time. We have this conversation in the open so that we can minimize any chance and any opportunity for anybody to just push some information, some garbage information to you all. But also that doesn't mean that we are perfect. We can very well give you some inaccurate information, and that is why we immediately rectify any information. We get to correct any and all the data that you may find inaccurate as it happens or as we are broadcasting our signal. For those reasons, guys, we also want to let you know that given that this is an open platform for you all, but also the studio is also open. This is a people station, which means that no matter where you are, where you're coming from, as long as you tune in and you talk about whatever the issue, whatever the topic, whatever the program that we're programming for the day, we will gladly receive your comment. We will gladly receive your feedbacks and the likes and so on. And for those reasons also, I would humbly ask that those of you who find something that needs to be corrected, please let us know, either publicly, as we also broadcasting this signal publicly to you all, or you can use our contact information and let us know, shoot us some feedbacks anywhere that you feel like we can actually either improve or make it better. And so for those of you who do not know how to get in touch with us, the primary gateway to get in touch with us, it's through our website. Of course, assuming that we're now live. Anybody can get here, can arrive here real time and we discuss. But in case we off the air, in case we offline, you can always find us 24/7 on our website. And the website is afridominium.com, www.afridominium.com. Our main email is info@afridominium.com. info@afridominion.com. From there, we guarantee you guys, or maybe I should say I guarantee you, because oftentimes you get to see me for this particular program and our guests. So here we guarantee that everything that you want to share with us, we are going to also share it publicly. As long as you say, these are my comments, and I'm passing it through you guys so you can also share with the public. We have that obligation. In fact, we are so confident that we want to be able to do things as transparent as possible. Because gone are the days where we want to do business right underneath of the hood. If we're talking about integrity, if we're talking about keeping it real, if we're talking about making sure that the deals or whatever it is you're foreseeing, it's to the very best of your brothers and sisters, it might as well be public. There's no reason to break some deals right underneath of the hood and nobody knows what's going on, which is why we publicly doing this broadcast. And we also publicly seeking your help so that anything that you like in the program, you can actually support it. It can be financial support, it can be time-wise, it can be programming or your creativity. We have room for improvement, we have room for growth, and we want to extend the invitation to you guys. And with that in mind also, I am so mindful that most of you are not necessarily familiar with what this show is about. So I might as well just give you a little bit about it. So what is Afridominium and what is the Afridominium show? So Afridominium, it's an idea that inspires, advocates, and encourages. It even goes to the extent of helping our brothers and sisters, kings and queens, African descendants, to take the full control, to take the full dominion of Africa and African affairs, one nation at a time, all by us, kings and queens, sons and daughters of Africa and African descendants, all in the interest of African people and the continent primarily, and then the rest of the world afterwards. So the show, Afridominium show, it's a program that actually becomes a mouthpiece. We get to literally program, or we get to create programs of which also inspires. Programs that inspire, programs that advocate, programs that encourages and help you in real time take the full dominion of Africa. All of us sons and daughters, kings and queens, all in the interest of African people, first and foremost, and then the rest of the world afterwards. And of course, we make sure that it's the entire African continent, the entire Africa continent. So we want to make sure that anywhere that you find your brothers and sisters, we get to actually help them. We want to take back what is our dominion, what is our rightful inheritance. And I want to let you know, guys, that oftentimes people actually ask me whether this is not a form of discrimination, and I say no. Why do I say no? Every single nation on planet Earth, it seeks out the interests of its own citizens first and foremost before it attends to anybody else. Perfect example, we'll be talking about briefly one of the nations that we are going to be featuring in this program today. It is a perfect example. And so even with us here, we want to make sure that we look after the interest of our brothers and sisters first and foremost. And then once we can take care of our own house, once we can secure our house, make sure that everything is in order, we can also have the audacity to help other people. There's no way that my house is going to be burning and then me have the audacity to say that I can come and help you out. If I cannot help myself out, who am I to come and help you? It's just absurd. And so we want to make sure that we actually help ourselves first instead of becoming, the beggars on the street, the beggars in every single one of these nations. We want to stop that. We have more than enough resources in Africa to take care of every single problem that we have in Africa and have leftovers to take care of other people's problems. But because we do not have control, we do not have matters in our own hands as Africans, we constantly become a laughingstock. We constantly become beggars. And to make matters worse, we beg in our own resources because somebody else is in control of our own resources. Foreigners are in control of our own resources. And so we want to say enough is enough with that. Let's take care of our problems. We have plenty of resources. Let's take care of us first and foremost, and then take care of everybody else afterwards. Hence, us saying that we gotta take back the full dominion of Africa. The full dominion of Africa. And for those of you who are not familiar with these words, I'll get to break it down momentarily. And I want to make sure that you also do not confuse us for other people or for other initiatives. So we publicly have this program every single day from 12 Eastern Standard Time to 1:30, meaning Washington, D.C. time. If you want to catch us live, you can catch us live via television, radio station, or social media, depending on whichever that you have at your disposal. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And with that in mind, guys, I also want to let you know that it's quite a privilege that we have, because gone are the days where we barely had access to information, where we barely had access to a microphone. Today, not only we have access to the microphone, not only we have access to the information, but now we also have the expertise, guys. We are fully responsible for this program, meaning our brothers and sisters. So I give you all an invitation to come over and take charge of this whole entire programming. Literally, and I mean it, I'm saying it publicly, because we are working on behalf of our own people. And we want to make sure that whatever it is that you find to be necessary, that we should be communicating with our brothers and sisters, you come and you share the content, you come and you share the resources. Which is why we say, all of y'all come who want to learn, who would like to learn this whole entire broadcast business. We want to do that. We're not stingy, because we understand what a big microphone can do. The impact of being able to have a voice, the impact of speaking on behalf of our voiceless brothers and sisters, it's a game changer. And we want to make sure that we are in charge for that. So for those of you who aren't familiar with how this program is broken down, so given that we broadcast Monday through Friday, we have 5 different themes. Every single day has its own themes. And all those themes, we get to derive various programs so that we can be able to, to have a smooth conversation or smooth activities in and out. And let me just break it down right quick to you guys. So on Mondays we talk about eradication of refugees and refugees, specifically African refugees and African stateless person, which means we focus on African problems, African refugees and African stateless person. It is so tragic how an African person becomes homeless, becomes stateless, becomes a refugee within Africa. And matters worse, also outside of Africa. So on Mondays, we get to tackle that issue. We get to figure out what's the problem. How can we eradicate these refugee problems and make sure that it's no longer going to be an issue to us, brothers and sisters. On Tuesdays, we get to talk about the Constitution, law and policy review and implementation of African nations and African regions. Again, Africa continent and African nations have one of the most beautiful constitutions around. However, these are like decoration. They're like beautiful flowers that just dries after a couple of days. They're not being utilized to benefit the people. So we come in and we say, what do we like about this constitution? What do we like about these local laws? What do we like about the policies? We get to push it forward. We get to educate the people. We get to make sure that you actually understand what these laws are. Now, also, I want to make sure that you get to understand constitution, laws, and policies. These are all the same thing. They differ. They differ in boundaries, meaning a constitution, a law, and policy. This is what we like to call here a set of instructions. These are a set of instructions that gives us some sort of guidelines. They guide us towards ways to stay in order, ways we can actually relate to one another. So we follow these laws or this set of instructions so that we can actually get along properly. The Constitution is a set of guidelines, a set of laws, or a set of instructions on a country level. Local laws, set of instructions on the region level. Policies, set of instructions on the studio here, or like a building, much more smaller region. So same set of instructions, different boundaries. All right. So keep it simple, guys. As they usually say, keep it simple, stupid kind of thing. So even you guys, don't complicate these things, guys. And that's one of the things that we want to make sure that we get rid of. If something seems complicated, uncomplicating it, if you can. And if not, let's find someone who can uncomplicate it for us. Because it's irresponsible to get in the middle of something you have no knowledge of. And then you pretend that you can actually have some sort of overhead of it, or some sort of control of it, or some sort of understanding, when clearly you have no idea what you're talking about. And so we have found out that our brothers and sisters, oftentimes we find ourselves in the things we have no knowledge over. And we want to make sure that if we're going to go into something, not only we study it, we get to understand it, and we have a full comprehension of it, and then we get to put it in action after we have understood it. And if that doesn't pan out, then it's a no-go from the get-go. Going back to Thursdays. Thursdays is the spirit of dominion. What is dominion? Dominion entails you being able to govern, you being able to control, you being able to master, you being able to manage, protect, make it better than what you have found. So we're talking about the dominion of Africa. We're talking about the governorship of Africa, the management of Africa and African resources, the people, all those things, protecting it, making sure that you are a good steward of the resources at your disposal. Most of you are supposed to be good kings and queens. Not even good, great. Let me put it that way. But the majority of us, we are slaves. Literally, and I am literally saying it, we are literally slaves, guys. A slave dressed in suit, it still is a slave. You don't have to have a shackle, shackles, physical shackles, for you to be trapped. We're talking about mental slavery, guys. It's still happening. So Africa is one of those nations that's been struggling, and it still is struggling. But before I jump right in it, Friday, guys, I almost forgotten. On Friday, the theme for Friday, we get to talk about the current event and how it affects Africa and African people. So all those themes, we get to literally use them to channel or to manage various programs that are keen, that are important, that we hold so dear to our hearts. All right. So, guys, with that in mind, I want to make sure that we go ahead and give you guys a huge welcome, saying to you guys that this program is one of my favorite programs. I kid you not. We are involved in so many programs, but this particular program it's really close to my heart. Why? Because we get to have the opportunity to speak directly to our brothers and sisters. We get to talk about the issues we have never spoke about for years. I mean, I was a kid anyway, but African in general, we have never had the opportunity to speak up and to speak our hearts, to speak of the issues very deeply hidden within ourselves. And today we can. And for those reasons, I want to make sure that each and every one of you has that opportunity to speak up when you do decide to speak up. As a team, we'll make sure that if you have something to say, you come and you say it, and you boldly speak. And you speak with integrity, and you speak with no shame. Because after all, it's your business. Going back to what I was alluding to just a few minutes ago, Africa has been enslaved for many centuries. Still is being enslaved today in 2022. Though you don't see physical shackles, we have mental shackles. Africa is not managing its own affairs. You have other world nations, other countries managing Africa by force, not even just by some sort of treaty. Africa is being physically managed. All the resources within Africa are being managed by the outsiders, which is why we continuously see things like hunger, things like all kinds of crisis things like crimes, things like economic crisis, health crisis, you name it, it's there in Africa. The irony is that Africa is one of the wealthiest continents on planet Earth. One of the most wealthiest continent on planet Earth. Yet we have one of the most poorest of the poorest of the poorest people on planet Earth. So how do you explain that? Slavery. In some places, you still have physical shackle, slavery, physically. But the whole entire continent is now being mentally enslaved. And we want to make sure that we get rid of that, guys. No joke. All of us, we know it's happening, but it's a taboo topic to talk about. And because it's a taboo topic, most of you, brothers and sisters, when you have the audacity to speak it, oftentimes you are retaliated against. Either you lose your job, either you lose some status that you had. They make sure that they pin you down in the most efficient way possible. So those of us who get to speak up openly, we constantly get threats, death threats, jail, all kinds of threats. But then again, it's almost like hypocrisy at its very best. All of us, we now belong to different nations. Very few of us are still in our native lands. I'm in the United States, for example. And in the United States, we are encouraged to speak up. We are encouraged to be more free. Liberty, the emblems here in the United States. Liberty, justice, pursuit of happiness, pursuit of liberty, justice for all of us. Now, when you're seeking justice, oftentimes there are some conflicts that you do find, on your way towards justice. And it's no exception with us here either. So Africans specifically, we have had a huge share of injustices. We're still going through injustices. And us, as sons and daughters of Africa, we are speaking very loud saying, hell no, no longer. No longer are we going to support this. No longer are we going to stay silent when some of these injustices are taking place. No longer are we going to just see someone taking the whole entire dominion of Africa. Not in our own interest, but in somebody's interest at our own expense. No longer are we going to support that. We respect every single one of you because it is the very basic thing we can do as human beings, respecting one another. But if you don't have no respect for me, if you absolutely and categorically disrespect me, disrespect my family, disrespect my community, disrespect my country, disrespect my continent, how do you suppose we get along? And we see this every single day. So we're hoping that us shedding some light to what's happening can potentially awaken a lot of you brothers and sisters, can also awaken these, other foreigners who are actually doing this purposely, though they think we either too stupid or too dumb to realize or to see that it's happening. So I just want to make sure that we publicly and we categorically tell you that we can see what's happening here. And you should stop it because you claim to be the good guy and you're exemplary. So show it in action, not just in words. So that's why you get to see us here. So guys, a huge welcome to all of you guys. Come and let's have a great conversation today. We've got quite a few topics going on here today, especially for those of you who aren't familiar. This month is a special month for Rwanda. It's a month, actually the next 3 months, it's a month where we remember the genocide, the Rwandan genocide. This is a genocide that claimed so many people, guys. So many people. Officially, it is said between 800 to 1 million, 1.2 mostly Tutsis, and so they say. But now here, I am telling you, this genocide not only claimed between those numbers, but it goes as far as 4 million, guys. Something you did know. because it's not found in the mainstream media. But we've lost a lot of people. In Rwanda, we're not talking about the Great Lakes region. By the way, I also am aware that some of you have no idea where Rwanda is. Rwanda is located in the Greater Lakes region of Africa. So meaning, if you know the Democratic Republic of the Congo, or what used to be called as Zaire, if you know Uganda, if you know Tanzania, and if you know Burundi, Rwanda, it's like sitting right in the middle of all those four guys. It's a little teeny country. Very, very small. So, back in 1994, we had a genocide. A very meticulously prepared genocide. Prepared genocide, guys. My brothers and sisters, we butchered one another. We literally killed each other. Machetes. And then others were using bombs, knives, guns, and so on. So, given we killed each other, we are also responsible for the mess. But also, some invisible masterminders. You have heard of the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda. It attempted to prosecute a bunch of Rwandese people. However, these are like the foot soldiers. You know, these, I can call them like the captains when it comes to battlefield. You have yet to prosecute the generals. You have yet to prosecute the true architect of what has happened to Rwanda. Why? Because the true architect are foreigners. Speaking the truth boldly and truthfully, and also fact check me, guys. Fact check me. And we want to say that publicly. And so because of that, we still run around this whole genocide thing, this whole genocide. So from the month of April all the way to July, it's a time where we reflect. It's a time where we remember our brothers and sisters who were killed. They are Rwandese people of ethnicity Tutsis who were literally killed, a bunch of them, in a very short time period. We have a bunch of Hutus who were also killed for a time period that goes as far as 10 years. Instead of just a concentrated 90 to 100, a little bit more days, it was 10 years or a little bit more. So we're talking about 400,000 people who were killed, approximately, they say, between 300, a little bit more actually, let me not lie. They talking about the survivors between 300,000 to 400,000 of Tutsis who survived. And we had about, in Rwanda, we used to have somewhere between 650,000 to 800, 900 of them, 900,000, okay? So you can imagine a lot of our brothers and sisters have died off. And with that, a country of 7 million, okay? 7 million, the population of 7.1, 7.2 million, literally a whole lot of other brothers and sisters have died. Now, the international community and everybody else on the take has made sure that only the Rwandese people of ethnicity Tutsis are always coming forward. The rest of the Rwandese are pretty much perpetrators. To make matters worse, this issue was actually ethnicized. Ethnicized, that's my verb, meaning it was turned into ethnicity. And the worst part of it, right now, if I say a Hutu person, you see a villain, you see a mastermind, you see a killer. But did you know that in those 5 countries, those 5 nations, every single one of them has a Hutu as one of the ethnic group, has a Tutsi as one of the ethnic group, has a Twa as one of the ethnic group. So you're not talking about just the Rwandese Hutu, you're talking about the region of Hutus, the region of Tutsi, the region of Twa. So because now foreigners have been miseducated or misinformed of this whole little ecosystem of ethnicities, anytime you mention keyword Hutu, they think of a Rwandese killer. They immediately associate yourself with a killer in Rwanda. And that's besides the point, guys. I want to make sure that I just briefly talk about that because it's a part of the remembrance. We are in the remembrance time period. And also showing you an amazing opportunity that we have to actually correct a twisted story that's been spoken for more than 28 years. Purposely, I should add. The same way African history has been purposely buried for outsider interest, Rwanda's genocide has been purposely twisted for the interest of the outsider as well. Again, I want you to fact check me, guys. And it's actually the very least you can do. The very least you can do. And so with that in mind, guys, a huge condolences to our brothers and sisters in Rwanda who have lost their loved one. A huge condolences to foreigners who are married to Rwandese people. You also are mourning. You are going through some more difficult times right now. And those of you who have lost a loved one, also, our condolences to you guys. We also have lost, I don't think there's a single Rwandese person who has not lost a loved one. I don't think there is a single Rwandese person who was in the country who has not lost a loved one. It's impossible to find one such person, literally. So I got a story. Millions of other Rwandese people have a story. So this is something we can talk about for centuries to come. Hence why we are absolutely preserving our history. And I'm extending an invitation to all of you to come and literally preserve your own history. So with that, guys, speaking of the country, today's topic, I want to ask you, is it okay for the United Kingdom to dump its illegal immigrants to Rwanda? Speaking of which, you see now I briefly had to talk about Rwanda. So right now we are actually in a mourning time period. Actually, I think it ends today. But the very next 83 days, 83 days, 93, 83 days will be remembrance. It will be for, we will be remembering our brothers and sisters. But the first week, it's literally like a mourning week in Rwanda. So now, here's a little twist. The United Kingdom, especially for those of you who haven't been following, the Prime Minister Boris Johnson, earlier on today, he made an announcement, a very interesting announcement, which I literally would like you guys to be aware of it, especially if you're not familiar with what happened today. So he announced that it's a legal problem. It's going to become Rwanda's legal problem. It's illegal immigration problem. It's being dumped to Rwanda. And now I'm asking, is it okay for the United Kingdom, for the UK to dump its illegal immigration policies to Rwanda, or its illegal immigrants to Rwanda? I want to ask you that. So, I want to make sure that we get to give you guys a little bit of a context, because it's going to matter for those of you who aren't familiar. But before I jump right in that, because that's really what I want to talk about, I would like our technicians to just run a clip of what the Prime Minister Johnson had said earlier on today, a few hours ago. If you haven't followed, I need you to follow. And it's so relevant to this whole topic of us taking dominion of Africa and us taking dominion of your own native land. If someone else is in charge, they can call out any policy. They can call out anything they want to call out. They literally can control you. They can control your resources when you cannot say anything about it. This is a perfect example, as you will get a chance to observe. Please, if they can, if you guys can run the clip right quick, so that the viewers can listen in right quick. And guys, I want you to pay attention, because oftentimes these things, they start up early. And when you do not follow, you get lost. Or by the time you're following, or by the time you're reacting, or doing, taking action, it's long past its duration. So please, play that clip right quick for us so we can jump right in it.
And even if they do make it here, We know only too well some of the horrendous stories of exploitation over the years, from the nail bars of East London to the cocklebeds of Morecambe Bay, as illegal migration makes people more vulnerable to the brutal abuse of ruthless gangs. So, we must halt this appalling trade and defeat the people smugglers. That's why we're passing the Nationality and Borders Bill, which allows us for the first time to distinguish between people coming here legally and illegally, and for this distinction to affect how your asylum claim progresses and your status in the UK if that claim is successful. It will enable us to issue visa penalties against those countries that refuse to accept returns of foreign criminals and failed asylum seekers. It will clean up the abuse of our legal system, introducing a one-stop shop that will end the cycle of last-minute and vexatious claims and appeals that so often thwart and delay removals. And it will end the absurd practice of asylum-seeking adults claiming to be children to strengthen their claims and access better services. Crucially, it will also allow us to prosecute those who arrive illegally with life sentences for anyone piloting the boats, and to identify, intercept, and investigate these boats. From today, the Royal Navy will take over operational command from Border Force in the Channel, taking primacy for our operational response at sea, in line with many of our international partners, with the aim that no boat makes it to the UK undetected. This will be supported by £50 million of new funding for new boats, aerial surveillance and military personnel, in addition to the existing task force of patrol vessels, Wildcat helicopters, search and rescue aircraft, drones and remotely piloted aircraft. This will send a clear message to those piloting the boats. If you risk other people's lives in the Channel, you risk spending your own life in prison. People who do make it to the UK will be taken not to hotels at vast public expense, rather they will be housed in accommodation centres like those in Greece, with the first of these to open shortly. At the same time, we are expanding our immigration detention facilities to assist with the removal of those with no right to remain in the UK. We're investing over £500 million in those efforts, and this is on top of overhauling our arrivals infrastructure here in Kent, with new processing facilities now operational at Western Jetfoil and at Manston. But we will need to go further in breaking the business model of these gangs. So from today, our new migration and economic development partnership will mean that anyone entering the UK illegally, as well as those who have arrived illegally since January the 1st, may now be relocated to Rwanda. This innovative approach, driven by our shared humanitarian impulse and made possible by Brexit freedoms, will provide safe and legal routes for asylum while disrupting the business model of the gangs. Because it means that economic migrants taking advantage of the asylum system will not get to stay in the UK, while those in genuine need will be properly protected, including with access to legal services on arrival in Rwanda, and given the opportunity to build a new life in that dynamic country, supported by the funding we are providing. The deal we've done is uncapped, and Rwanda will have the capacity to resettle tens of thousands of people in the years ahead. And let's be clear, Rwanda is one of the safest countries in the world, globally recognized for its record on welcoming and integrating migrants. Later this year, it will welcome leaders from across the Commonwealth. And before the pandemic, in 2018, the IMF said Rwanda was the world's fourth fastest growing economy.
There you have it, guys. The part that I wanted you to listen to is where Mr. Mr. Johnson is saying that from today, the illegal immigrants in UK are going to be dumped to Rwanda. The British is going to provide uncapped resources to Rwanda to take care of their own problem. Now, this is where now it gets interesting, and this is literally why I want to have this conversation with you all, guys. So, for those of you who aren't familiar, if they can actually please put the map there so they can also see the map, because I want us to go ahead and just break it down briefly on it. So, for those of you guys who aren't familiar, I want you to see the map that they're putting on the screen there. Hopefully, you guys can see it. Let me see if I can zoom in the map myself. That way, I can get a chance to see it. So, guys, I want you to see. Oh, that looks too big though. Okay. So this is the United Kingdom right here, and this is Rwanda. This is Rwanda right here. Do you see this little teeny country right there? For those of you guys who aren't familiar with Rwanda, let me see if they can actually help me. Can you make it bigger if you can, so they can get a clear view? Okay, never mind. I'll try to do it myself. Okay, no worries. Give me a second, guys. Let me find my zoom there. Okay, hold on. Let me actually come in the picture so I can do it there. So, guys, I want you to see, this is the United Kingdom. I hope you guys can see my mouse, okay? This is the United Kingdom, and this is Rwanda, right here. Let me see if I can make it. So this is Rwanda, okay? This little teeny thing, and then look at the United Kingdom. This is United Kingdom. And for those of you who are not familiar, okay, the United Kingdom, it's about 10 times bigger than Rwanda, okay? About 10 times bigger. If you think that I'm lying, let me see if we can find, go on Wikipedia, guys. Go on Wikipedia, and you get to find the size of the United Kingdom and the size of Rwanda. So let me see if I can humor you guys, because some of the things that takes place oftentimes, it is so laughable and to the point that it's not even funny. And right now, this is actually not laughing matters. So for what we're doing here, we literally want to talk serious discussion. So this is Rwanda here, a little dot, and this is the United Kingdom. So the United Kingdom is having immigration problems. They're having a bunch of people migrating to the United Kingdom, both legally and illegally. So Mr. Johnson is tired of all these illegal immigrants coming to his country, the United Kingdom. And so because of that, in case you guys haven't heard, actually we will put the whole speech earlier. Remind me, guys, we'll put the speech right at the bottom so you guys can see it. So he's saying that the United Kingdom cannot sustain a parallel illegal immigration of a bunch of people coming from all over the world to its nation, and it's putting the pressure and it's literally draining the taxpayer dollar, and it's draining the public service. Okay, so he's concerned that its own infrastructure, its own system is going to collapse if the illegal immigration continues to the rate that it's on. Remember, United Kingdom, it's 10 times bigger than Rwanda. Actually, let me find the information right quick, because sometimes it's necessary that you don't think that I'm making up things. I want to do it quickly, so you guys can see it here. Rwanda. I should have prepared it earlier, but don't worry, I know exactly what it is. So I can breathe it the same way I'm breathing air. I know exactly where it is. So the United Kingdom, right now, as I'm talking to you guys, fact check me again. Its total area, that whole little small thing that you're looking at right now, its area, it's Its area, where are you? Okay, I got it. It's 242,497 kilometers square. For those of you who use English system, it's 93,628 square miles, okay? Rwanda, on the other hand, its whole mass, the real estate in Rwanda, the entire country is 26,338 kilometers square, or 10,515 kilometers square. I want you guys to imagine, okay? I want you to imagine. The United Kingdom, actually, it wasn't 10, it's 9, okay? It's 9 times bigger. The United Kingdom is 9 times bigger. A little bit over, close to 10, but it's at least 9. Fair and square, minimum of 9, okay? So 9 times bigger than Rwanda, okay? Its problem, its immigration problem, it's going to be dumped on a country smaller than it is, with no infrastructure whatsoever. If the United Kingdom isn't able to handle its own immigration, and it's going to dump it on another smaller country in size, smaller in infrastructure, smaller in the capacity to handle that, I mean, what's wrong with that picture, guys? I just want you, brothers and sisters, to take a look at it. And not only that, the second thing I want you to keep mindful of, the population in the United Kingdom, it's minimum of 67 million, according to the estimate in 2020 is about 67 million. But the latest census that took place in 2011 was 63. So right now the estimation of 67 million, it's what they're thinking. On the other hand, in Rwanda, okay, in Rwanda, currently the population in Rwanda, it's minimum of 12 million, minimum of 12 million. And the last time that they did a census, even though I had no idea, 2012, they quoted 10,515,000, which is, by the way, not true. Let me put it out there too. So, between the people, the British real estate or the United Kingdom real estate is 9 times bigger than Rwanda. Okay? They are having trouble, a huge problem, taking care of their own immigration problem. The immigrants going to the United Kingdom, they cannot handle. They want to dump it to Rwanda, a much smaller country with little to no capacity to handle it, and they will pay the tab. I mean, come on, think about it. I got a problem. I don't want to take care of it. I'm willing to pay you to take care of it for me. What's wrong with that picture, guys? You've seen how at first he spoke very nicely about Rwanda, how the IMF and everybody is saying that the Rwanda is pretty dope. But then he's like, since Rwanda is pretty dope, let's go ahead and dump our problem to Rwanda. Minding you right now, the Brits, they want to bring in illegal immigrants to Rwanda when Rwanda still has yet to repatriate its own people. It gets better, guys, and I want you guys to listen to this. The GDP, those of you who don't know about GDP, GDP stands for gross domestic product. In British, okay, or in the United Kingdom, do you know how much money the GDP is? As of 2021, the GDP is $3.1 trillion. Do you know what it is in Rwanda? In Rwanda, the GDP in Rwanda, gross domestic product, is only 11 billion. And what does that have to do with anything, you may be asking? So the Brits have 3,000 in the capacity of production of anything and everything. They are 9 times bigger and 3,000. Okay, they're producing in the measures of 3,000 minimum of billions. In Rwanda, it's only 11 billion, which means from 3,000 to 11 billion, it's almost like 300 times. Meaning their own production, they can just do it 300, minimum of 300 in production, resources-wise, than Rwanda can do it. However, the problems that they cannot handle with their own capacity, they're dumping it to Rwanda. This is how our leaders are thinking. I just want you guys to think about it. It gets better, okay? It gets better. An average person, an average citizen in UK, per capita in UK, do you know how much it is? I wonder if you guys really think about this. It's about $49,000, okay? Like an average person in the UK makes about $49,000. Roughly, it's not the exact number, roughly 49K. In Rwanda, it's roughly 850. Let's round it off to $900. So someone who's making 49K and the other guy is making 900K. The 49K guy wants his or her problem to be handled by the guy who has only $900. Are you guys listening, guys? Like seriously, are you listening? It's beyond. It's beyond what I can imagine. You have at least 50 times better in capacity to handle your issues than the other guy next door to you. You are not able to handle your issue. You want to dump it to them and you say, hey, you know what? I give you pocket change so you can take care of my problem. Either the next door neighbor is really stupid or has no value or has no knowledge when it comes to value proposition. So it goes without saying, or it goes without asking, what in the world is in for Rwanda to take care of the immigration problem of the United Kingdom? Guys, that's a big question that I want to pose to each and every one of you. For Mr. Johnson to kindly say, we are going to give you a blank check. As long as you take care of this problem, we are so tired of it, we will take care of you. And that blank check is not a blank check, by the way. Let's also be serious with that. For those of you who also are not familiar, Rwanda, it's a part of the CHOGM. The CHOGM, for those of you who are not familiar with CHOGM, it's like the Commonwealth, it's like the Commonwealth of Nations. These are like nations that used to be either colonies of the United Kingdoms or still are considered as colonies of the United Kingdom, even though Rwanda has never been a part of that. But Rwanda has applied to be a part of the Commonwealth. And for the past 2 years, actually now 3 years, it's been attempting to host the CHOGM meeting in Kigali. And to my understanding, this summer, it's going to happen. And because of that, there is like a little stick and carrot that the UK is dancing around with. Now the problem though, how many Rwandese people are even aware that the United Kingdom, as of today, is going to be dumping its illegal problems, its illegal immigration problem to Rwanda? This is not the first time though that Rwanda is receiving other people's immigrants besides its own. It's not the first time this is happening. But now, conveniently, the United Kingdom is already stressed, okay? Those of you guys who didn't get a chance to follow to what Mr. Boris said, he literally explicitly said, you know what, we are so tired, we cannot handle this problem, and therefore we need another country to take care of it. And our chosen country is Rwanda, because Rwanda is so good, it's very developing economically, and this and that and that. There is a reason, guys. There's always a method to the madness. It's not by accident that the United Kingdom is choosing Rwanda. I want to tell you up front, it's not by mistake. The history goes as back before October 1st, 1990. And those of you who do not know what happened October 1st, 1990, that's when the war started. When the then rebel, the Rwandan Patriotic Front, turned the government, which is doing dealings with the United Kingdom today, they were helped back in 1990 to attack Rwanda. They were given military support, logistics, and all of that, and training. Arms through Uganda and then to Rwanda. Not only that, the United Kingdom has really been very helpful in restructuring the land, the landmarks in Rwanda. We used to have what they call prefectures, préfecture, and now we have provinces, just like we conveniently have in the United Kingdom. Guys, there is a whole lot going on that you guys need to open up. So, I'm just breaking the little ice for you guys to get to know what's happening. Back to what we're talking about today. How in the world is Rwanda going to handle this influx of illegal immigrants when it can barely handle its own immigrants? Rwanda wants to get paid, okay? Business, pure business on one side, but short-sighted on behalf of the people. And that is one of the reasons I keep on telling you guys. If we do not take the full control of our own homeland and the full control of Africa, you have a lot of managers, like the kind of managers you have, the same way you used to have plantation managers back in the days. Remember I told you that we are still mentally enslaved? Right now the masters are calling shots, telling you what to do, how to do it, doesn't matter what. They get pocket change, they throw it at you so that you can do the bidding. Rwanda has been doing the bidding of so many nations. Rwanda has been doing the biddings of so many nations. And UK is just one of the main nations that it's been doing business with. So, be afraid or be concerned when the United Kingdom says our system is stressed. We're having a problem managing the public resources because of this immigration problem, this illegal immigration. We cannot sustain a parallel illegal immigration while we try to also welcome other people legally. He said in court earlier. And he goes further and said that the government could not ask British taxpayer to pay for anyone who wants to come and live there illegally. So all the illegal immigrants are going to be dumped on Rwanda because it is unsustainable in British. Now, if the Brits cannot sustain the illegal problem that they have on their own homeland, do you really believe that Rwanda is going to be able to sustain it? Or you have some really hungry people waiting to be paid and then just let the jungle fall in the jungle. Guys, this is a serious problem. The leadership in Rwanda cannot manage, period. All the deals being made are not in the very best interest of the Rwandese people. I want to bring it to your attention, May 28th, 2020. There's a very interesting agreement that was signed. I'm going to quiz you on that. Rwanda was sold to the United States, in case you didn't know, on May 28, 2020. And now, the Brits also, they're getting a piece of Rwanda. Rwanda is becoming a dumpster for all the problems that they don't want to deal with in the United Kingdom. Specifically, illegal problems, illegal immigrant problems that they have, they just don't want to deal with it. They'd rather have the managers on the plantation deal with it. However they deal with it, as long as they just throw a little bit of pennies to them, and that's it. I am wondering, guys, how is it that you cannot migrate to, how many of you Rwandese people can be just even in exchange, like free visa, going to the United Kingdom, as just a token of we are really besties, guys. No visa, you can go to UK, no problem. Do business and come back to Rwanda. How many of you can do that? At least so there is some sort of mutual respect, mutual understanding. We don't have any right now. You need a visa to go to UK. And they actually also check to make sure that you can actually sustain. You cannot become an added burden to the system that's already pressured. Now, Rwanda has little to no system, yet it's taking in immigrants. Not only regular immigrants, illegal immigrants. Some of them could be potentially bad apples, seeking for lives, seeking life. So it doesn't matter what kind of people you're receiving. We don't have a means to screen whether we're now receiving criminals, whether we're now receiving people who really shouldn't be mixed with other Rwandese people. But again, they have a pretty good point. They usually will say, you know what? These people, they actually kind of, they've been killing each other for the past God knows how long. If we dump on these extra people, whether they are criminals or not, they can handle them. After all, they've been butchering each other. Minding you guys, if someone thinks that you can handle their own problem better than you are, either you are a really superman or woman, or you are just another dumpster. The same way, what do you do with a dumpster? You put a trash in there. Now, guys, this may sound like a very strong language. However, if it's the love of Rwanda, why is it that the United Kingdom couldn't find another country well able, with a very strong system, to actually propose that it handles their own illegal immigrant problem? Rwanda has no track record in handling illegal problems, illegal immigrant problems. They have no track record. Ask me how I know. Tell me how many Rwandese people are still outside, and why do they still have problems with people repatriating in the country? Secondly, more people are trying to leave Rwanda because of bad governorship. But the country and the people leading it right now, they're actually seeking to get more people inside. There's something that I need to mention, which is very critical. Remember I told you of the size of the United Kingdom and Rwanda? If they can put it back up again, the whole 9 times bigger. So there's something important that I need you to know. Right now as we speak, the density of the population in Rwanda compared to the United Kingdom. Remember, the UK is 9 times bigger than Rwanda. According to Wiki, my friend Wiki tells me that in the United Kingdom right now, per kilometer square, you have 270 people. In Rwanda, per kilometer square, you have 470. So in UK, it's a much bigger nation, and people are spread apart. In Rwanda, it's a teeny country, and we are so dense. And that is still okay to whoever does sign the deal with the United Kingdom. By the way, this deal is called the Migration Partnership. I am actually waiting to get my hands on the actual deal. And it says that, and he did say that, they believe that, there may be some issues going through the approval, blah, blah, blah. But bottom line, you Rwandese people, you African people, I just don't understand who actually sit in these deals. You gotta be either the dumbest person, excuse my French, to actually work for the people and on behalf of the people. I will put you to jail if I was a president. How is it that a country 9 times smaller than a giant United Kingdom is able to handle a United Kingdom problem that they cannot handle themselves? They have no experience. They have no capacity. They're getting help to handle their own problem. Either you are too nice or too stupid to realize what's coming ahead. Now you, the people, I turn around you. If your own representatives cannot seek out your very best interest, why do you have people who are representing you? Why do you still have them in place? And you Africans, I want you to see Rwanda, the perfect example, Rwanda. This is how Rwanda is becoming the Singapore of Africa. All inclusive, no problem. You got problem, we got the solution in words. But practically speaking, we cannot handle it. We cannot handle it, practically speaking. If right now we are, my goodness. Guys, if we had the power to literally put to jail everybody who committed treason, I would literally rally the entire parliament in Rwanda today and ask him, what the hell are you thinking about? How are you going to handle a problem that the United Kingdom cannot handle itself when it has far more better resources than you do? And you are going to rely on a little pocket change resources that they're going to give you. Are you actually crazy in your head? But also, it is super shameful though for the United Kingdom government. I mean, you're supposed to be exemplary, guys. Let's speak frankly. Normally, you do not discuss grown-up matters with children. I look at Rwanda as a little baby being taken advantage of right now. You have done your very best to take care of your illegal problem, your illegal immigrant problem, I should say, unsuccessfully. And now you find one of these little teeny babies who is learning how to crawl. And now you find one of these little teeny babies who is learning how to crawl. And you're like, can we give you a little bit of bonbon? Can we give you a little bit of chocolate? Say, yes, I want some chocolate. Yes, I want some chocolate. Here you go, we got plenty of chocolate. We have a bag of it. By the way, every year, if you can take care of this for me, I'm going to give you this chocolate. Seriously speaking, guys, it's not funny, but I want you to see how ridiculous it is. Here in the United States, there is a child protective services. We do have child protective services. I feel like we need to get an application and get Rwanda literally admitted as a child who requires some protection. Because this is child abuse. This is country abuse. Rwanda cannot handle this. And it doesn't have an advocate. Which is why, guys, you citizens of Rwanda, even you Africans, some of these things you ought to be able to say no. It's like when you see a little baby being raped on the street, that baby does not have to be yours. For you to say, hold up, this, go away. You have a raper right around you. And you got to make sure that this, the society, the community, you kick that raper away. That's the best analogy that I can find here. You don't have to know that child as long as that child is in danger for you to come at its help. So I want to see all of you who claim to be friends of Rwanda to scrutinize this deal, to check out the capacity of Rwanda, scrutinize its capacity. Because you can tell a child by the way a child behaves. If you scrutinize a child or someone who claims to be a grown-up but behaves like a child, at some point you got to take over. Because now the danger, it's not only going to be felt by a whole lot more other people, but there will be actually an upset in the whole entire ecosystem. But of course, it won't be a problem anymore because between the United Kingdom and Rwanda, there's quite a distance, guys. By the time the United Kingdom can observe the ramification of what's happening, they will be talking about other things. So why today you Rwandese people, you Rwandan citizens, do not have the guts, the audacity? Why can you not study carefully the deal and see if it is in the best interest of you, the people, first and foremost, not Paul Kagame's administration? This deal is fantastic for Paul Kagame's administration because it's more money in their pocket, but it's absolutely a disaster for you, the people. Because first and foremost, you cannot take care of yourselves. Now you receiving more people. They're going to be struggling with you together. When in the United Kingdom, the system, it's already stressed. Think about it. The UK system is stressed because of the illegal immigration. In Rwanda, they want to give you a little bit of money so you can take care of their own problem. What's wrong with this picture, guys? UK's capacity to handle issues economically and Rwandan capacity to handle issues economically. It's like this. And they have no shame to publicly say that there is a partnership between the United Kingdom and Rwanda when it comes to this illegal immigration crisis that they're having in the United Kingdom. And they are going to rely on Rwanda to be the dumpster to take care of that same problem. What's wrong with that picture, guys? You Africans now, I am calling you all out. This is a classic example of when we have leaders who do not seek the very best interests of the people. How can you have the full dominion of your regional land if the so-called leader, he or she, isn't seeking out or seeking after the very best interest of the people? Guys, a United Kingdom citizen or person, it's making 49K. In Rwanda, about 850K. The UK citizen or resident is claiming, I cannot handle this problem. Please help me, Rwanda. This guy who's making only 850 bucks is like, come, I'll take care of your problem. Are you seriously mental? 49K? 800 bucks. I got problem? I am happy to take care of your problem. Are you serious? I'm not sure if you guys see what I'm actually showing you guys. Now, this is all in the middle of remembering the genocide. And it cannot be, let me try to put it this way. And it's like an insult to an injury caused by the same guy, way in the back. Right now, the United Kingdom has yet to answer for its role in the Rwandan genocide. Leaders from UK have yet to face trial. But business as usual, right underneath the hood, continues because the United Kingdom has full control of its interests and its matter when it comes to Rwanda. Just like the United States has a full control of Rwanda when it comes to its interest. At what point do you, the people, assess where is your interest compared to the interest of the United Kingdom, compared to the interest of the United States, so that you can say, hey, are we making a good deal? Is this a great deal? Is this the greatest deal we can have? Or this is a deal that is completely unforgivable? Think about when a child is making a deal with an adult, and that child can't even hold a pen. And you, the adult, you help the child with a pen so the child can sign on the deal. Isn't that child abuse, guys? I mean, I could be wrong, but I think it can be considered as child abuse. Now, I am sorry. At this point, Rwanda is like a baby to me. And we need a serious child protective service on behalf of Rwanda. Because the so-called guardian who's advocating Rwanda is not seeking out the best interest of Rwanda. It's abusing the child. This is literally straight out abuse. And the person involved in this deal also has a little bit of a problem. Either you don't care about the welfare of a child, or doesn't matter, doesn't care, as long as you agree, you're old enough to sign, so you're old enough to honor the deal. Same thing. I got me a slave. I already bought you, so I'm expecting some return out of my investment. Guys, this is shady. This is straight out shady. I don't know any other ways we can say it. Respectfully, Brits, you guys are good and everything, but no thanks. If we flip the script around, okay, I bet it will be a hell no. Imagine Rwanda donating you a few Rwandese people who would like to just go get a fresh air. How would you guys handle that? Remember, we have a visa. You're only allowing us in by visa. And you're scrutinizing to see if we can even afford staying in one of your fancy hotels. But now you got the audacity to come and dump your problems on our own people. Come on now. Now it's super incredibly shameful for you Rwandese people not to be following this. Yes, we are in the time period, in the time period of remembrance. But at the same time, guys, whether you're remembering or not, you are still expected to look after the interest of the country first and foremost. But of course, the same people, the same suspects are the one calling the shots today. So at what point are you going to be honest with yourselves, guys? Put the issues on the table, measure them up with full transparency, and then let the people know the deals you're striking on their behalf for. Guys, sooner or later you go to prison. I tell you. Sooner or later you go to prison. A little bit ago, Mr. Johnson was saying that those of you who are boarding, who are crossing over to UK, there is a new immigration law, or there is a legislature, a piece of legislature he called, let me see where I wrote it. It is called the Nationality and Borders Bill. It is going to be distinguishing those who come illegally in the United Kingdom and legally. And you may have countries may have penalty based on their own people. They want to clean up the abuse. They want to do all this stuff. And they want to end up the asylum seeker for those of you who pretend to be children and you are older. I mean, it's amazing and everything. In fact, I gave actually kudos to Johnson, to Boris Johnson. I mean, he's literally seeking after the very best interest of the UK people. Absolutely, you got thumbs up. However, when it comes to now being what I can call a role model, I give you thumbs down. When it comes to you being the adult in the house, the adult in the living room, you absolutely get thumbs down. It's like you're making a deal with a child, Mr. Johnson. You're striking a deal with a child. That's child abuse. What's in for Rwanda? For you guys to dump your immigration, your illegal immigration problem. What's in for Rwanda? What's in for Rwandese people? Actually, let me put it that way. Now, what's in for these leaders there? Remember, you also have a responsibility to uphold what we call the human right and the equal opportunity, this and that, as we also claim openly. Come on. There are certain things that we're all supposed to do as a part of the collective of human beings on this planet, part of which is to ensure that the welfare and the well-being of everybody is actually sought after, even when it's not necessarily in your immediate best interest. Our stability in Rwanda will actually indirectly enable you to have stability in UK, especially now that we are part of the CHOGA. So, unless we are just a dumpster, a dump site, where you just, get rid of some of your pressure and then forget it for a little bit of time, or throw a little bit of pounds so that it's no longer an immediate problem inland, and you just want to deal with it far away from from the mainland, that's going to be something that isn't just really good, politically, economically, and socially. I wonder if the United Kingdom is aware of how many refugees currently Rwanda has. We're talking about Rwandese refugees. Even in UK, how many of them do you have? Are you housing right now? So you are, I'm sure you fully are aware of the immigration status in Rwanda. However, you're going past that, of course, because we have corrupt politicians. We have people who are seeking out their best interest before the interests of the people. Yet, the decency isn't taking your very best to say, hey, you know, I cannot in good faith make a good deal with this child, aka Rwanda. Let me actually, let me be the adult on the table and look after the interests of some of them at the very least. That's the gesture. At least I think that it was good, or it would be good to see. Now, don't throw any rocks, guys. If you feel like this is literally legit, especially if you are a Rwandese person, and also if you are a UK citizen, if this is just to you guys, that also speaks so much about you as a nation, as a country. If we decide, or if we take the, if we actually take the liberty and we say to the entire world, hey, we can be an exemplary when it comes to how you can deal with your immigration problem, how you can deal with some of those most pressing issues, but between what you say and what you do, there is a disconnect. What do we call you? What do we call you when what you say doesn't measure up with what the actions you have? This is a classic example, Mr. Johnson. Can we see a good deal? You have an immigration problem. What can Rwanda help you with in its own capacity? With you thinking of its own fragile infrastructure as well, or no infrastructure at all. How is it that 270 people, kilometers square, and 470 people, kilometers square? How, look at those footings first and foremost, Mr. Johnson. The density of Rwanda is already almost close to being double the density of the United Kingdom. The population density in Rwanda, it's gonna be double very soon to that of United Kingdom. And United Kingdom is 9 times bigger than Rwanda, which means it's okay for us to suffocate, taking care of your problem, and you're feeling a little bit of AC and a little bit of breeze, not even touching nobody, because that's how you like it. I don't know any other ways to call that. But master, we ain't taking that. Not today, not tomorrow. And I hope you Rwandese people can see this. Rwanda is not a plantation. It never was, especially for the United Kingdom, guys. This is not a plantation understanding, guys. Even though we have managers on the plantation. And you, the people, need to wisen up and realize, if we truly are in democracy, if we truly are looking after the very best interests of the people, especially in Chogam, you all need to look, because some of us, we are really looking. And this deal, it's between master and slaves, the main plantation master and the manager striking a deal. Because the logistics and the feasibility in what you are proposing is just absurd. Guys, I want to hear what you have to say about this. And as always, please leave us some messages. Send us feedback because this issue, guys, it's still in the works. It's still in the works. And I would expect and I would hope that some of you will actually have an adult reaction towards it. I'm talking about you Rwandese people and you African people. When you see a kid being raped on the street, that kid shouldn't have to be your own kid to help that kid out. That there is a reason why we have child protective services to help some of these parents who can barely take care of their own children, to help some of these children who have zero advocacy. And I feel like we need an advocacy for this kid on the street called Rwanda, because the so-called guardian, it's literally abusing the kid in the open. And those of you who are supposed to be adults, you are super quiet about it because you're the one striking the deal. Y'all should be going to jail though. I think here in the United States at least, if you abuse a child and you are found to be guilty, may you do jail time. You lawyers who help children, we really need you because there's a kid who's literally being abused right now. And we need to have that advocacy strong and able to literally prosecute some of these behaviors because we see it over and over and over and over and over again. So guys, leave us some feedbacks at Afridominium.com. Our main email is info@Afridominium.com. We would love to know what you're thinking about this upcoming deal. It's actually been already done. UK's illegal immigrants are going to be brought to Rwanda to be resettled, and UK is gonna pay the tab. And the question is, what's in for you Rwandese people? You have much smaller land than the United Kingdom. You have an infrastructure that is less able than the United Kingdom infrastructure. Hell, even planning wise, you so much more inferior as compared to those guys in the UK. No offense. And you have the audacity to say that you can take care of the United Kingdom problem when you can barely take care of your own problem. Seriously, guys, what's wrong with this picture? This is your Paul Kagame, the exemplary leader. This is the Paul Kagame administration that you continuously bragging about globally. Care to look right underneath of the hood? Like seriously, do you care to look what's right underneath of the hood? All of y'all. This is a perfect example. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you say. Welcome. Those of you who want to join us next time, real time live, we would love to have you. And I also want to let you know, guys, we speak truthfully, boldly, and with no apologies. Because these are the issues we really deeply care about. We say no to mental slavery. We say no to physical slavery. We want to be able to be in charge. We want to take charge of our own nations. With or without your permission. We're literally not seeking for your permission. It's just a matter of time. We're taking back the full dominion. We are taking back the full dominion. And while we're at it, we'll be cleaning. We will be cleaning some of our brothers and sisters who have been selling us out publicly and have no shame in doing it. And by the time we're done also, some of you friendlies, we are going to review our friendship. Because a friend does not rape another friend's kid. And you call yourself friends. A friend can look after the very best interests of another friend. That's what I thought friends means. I don't see the United Kingdom looking after the very best interests of the Rwandese people, especially being that we share Chogam and some other things. What's wrong with this arrangement, guys? Have you saying next time. Guys, thank you kindly. I am Freeman Singirankabo with Afridominium. Again, a huge thanks to all of you who have taken part in this broadcast, especially the technicians, the studios, and those of you who are broadcasting the signal worldwide. We are super grateful. Also, our condolences to our brothers and sisters in Rwanda and outside of Rwanda who are remembering their loved one who passed on during the 1994 genocide against the Rwandans. I also want to extend our solidarity with our brothers and sisters all over in Africa who are also helping us out to actually reclaim our true identity, helping us reclaim our dominion as Rwandans, our dominion as Africans. So until next time, guys, I am Freeman Singirankabo, and it was such a great opportunity and a humbling experience to be right here with you all. Until next time, so long for now.